Welcome back to another episode of the Cast Patrol podcast. You're joined as always by myself, Mick, Jimmy. Again, 2 weeks in a row, no age.
Mate, he's slacking off age. He's really milking the old ACL, isn't he?
Oh, he's milking it big time. I saw him on Easter. He was running. He was basically sidestepping around the house.
Was he?
Oh, mate, he's milking it for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, no age today. It's me and you again, Mick.
But the show goes on. We're filming this on a Tuesday night, fresh after yesterday's Easter Monday miracle. The Tigers toppling the Eels. But it's no miracle. I tipped them.
You did tip them.
I told you, Tigers. I didn't like Moses not playing for Eels. But
yeah, well, that was pretty evident. Moses was a huge loss for Para. Dylan Brown's not a 7.
No, I felt sorry for him. Like
he's not a 7.
He still had his running game, but he needed a halfback there to help him with it.
Yeah, and like Blaze didn't play badly. Like I just don't think they're both like sort of running 5'8" by the looks of it. So
100%. You saw at times like Gutho was taking over the kicking responsibilities. So Moses is definitely missed
huge
out
loss.
there.
Yeah.
But on the other side of things, what wasn't missing for the Tigers was their new star, Glorious Galvin.
Mate, Lachlan Galvin, absolute superstar in the making. 18 years old.
Yep.
If you don't mind.
I touched on it last week. I said he impressed me. Tigers were my team that impressed me.
Yep.
And Jesus Christ, has he done well?
Yeah, but just the confidence on him. Like for a young kid to, sort of step into that Tigers team, they've got obviously Appy and Caesar and a few old heads in there, but, he's just sort of taken the reins essentially in that team and, he's just playing with so much confidence and, it's really paying off for the Tigers.
It was touched on and talked about in the Bloke in a Bar podcast, but how he's coming to this system and he's not had any losses in his career. Well, he has, but he's not scarred by Tigers' past. Ironically, he was in the Eels system.
Yeah.
They let him go because he was considered too small.
Mate, they would have been absolutely filthy yesterday.
He's now grown and shot up to 193 centimetres.
Yeah, he's tall.
And he was part of the Harold Matts team that went on to win the 2022 title. And then last year, he captained Westfield Sports High to a national title and then captained the Australian schoolboys. So he's coming from some winning history. He's coming into that Tigers team, breath of fresh air.
That's it.
Sorry, all listeners at home. That was a bit of a brain spasm.
Yeah.
And you can see why Benji's put him in the team.
And how good was it seeing when they kept panning to Benji in the box? Like they were loving it. Him, Farah, John Morris.
All the old heads.
All the Tigers legends in there, just loving it. The kick, obviously, Gutho to win the game.
Yeah. I felt sorry for Gutho. It's a tough kick.
I thought they, just quietly, if that was a tough kick, they should have maybe just kicked it out and then tried to
set up for the field goal.
I thought so.
I just don't know who kicks their field goals though. That's my problem.
Probably Gutho. I think they said yesterday Gutho was the only one in that team to kick a field goal.
Surprised Caesar hasn't kicked one, surely.
Well, Caesar's kicked 10 or something, surely.
Oh, really? Oh, so he was the only one for Eels to kick one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Well, Lachlan Galvin now out for 2 weeks, but that's another issue for another time.
Yeah, no, that's another issue.
Poor bloke hip dropping. But on the other end of the table, Rabbitohs, my team wearing their hat. They rebound and their losing streak's over. I think it was long overdue.
20-16, convincing?
I wouldn't say convincing. We didn't play to our full potential, but it's super positive signs. I think the number one thing for me was we completed above 90%.
Which is good.
Yeah, so it was touched on plenty of times by JD in the media. He just wanted to improve South in terms of their schoolboy errors. No more errors. Hold the ball, complete our sets, and it worked. We grinded the Bulldogs out of the game.
Jackie Wyden.
I said he'd be impressive. He was my one player
on
to watch in the preseason. He adds a lot. He adds a lot of speed down there.
Yeah.
I think more so his ball handling, where he's a 5'8" by trade, comes into a centre. He's still got that ball playing ability.
Yeah.
And I like his tough carries. He's a decent sized body. He's strong. He's obviously the fittest at the club, and he just runs all day. Never lets up.
Yeah, I think it was a much needed sort of win for South, and hopefully bit of a confidence booster for them. If they can string a few wins together. Doggies, they didn't go down without a fight though. They were sort of in the game, weren't they?
Oh, they were in it. They had their moments where they were up at halftime, wasn't it?
Yeah.
12-10.
Yeah.
I think it didn't help losing Adokar, and then they had to shift stuff around. Like Karaz went to the wing, Salmon centre. But look, there's signs for Doggies. They came off a 32-0 win against the Titans, so who knows?
All hope's not lost there.
They come up against the Roosters this week, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
And then top of the tide, Phins are in first place. I didn't have that on my 2024 bingo for this year.
No, me neither. We had them top 8,
Mm-hmm.
but if you told me that they were going to be first after 4 rounds, wouldn't believe you.
No, but you can already see the 2 players that they've signed in, or even 3. Herbie,
Yep.
Flegler, and Avarillo. Instant
impact.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Herbie just adds a new dimension to that right edge.
A lot of speed down that right side with him and Asako.
Centre of the year, so
yeah, exactly.
impressive.
Flegler up the middle, good go forward, and then Avarillo, another speedster on that left. He's obviously forming a nice combination now with Bostock, which is really good to see.
Yeah, Bostock's been very impressive too. That try he scored on the verge of halftime, just literally took the ball on, beat 4 people, and put it down the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny. Like, obviously, they lost to the Cowboys round 1. You know, they got beaten pretty convincingly, but then they put a score on the Dragons.
Yep.
Had the bye,
Rolled through
the Titans, and then they're looking real good. You know, Bennett's doing some got the magic dust over there,
100%.
So
and they got the Tigers this week, so it's a winnable game, especially with Lachlan Galvin. Now it's crazy how we're talking about Lachlan Galvin now. Like, he's a massive out, he is, but he's an 18-year-old rookie at the end of the
100%,
day.
yeah,
crazy. So yeah. Who knows where they would be if Tom Gilbert was in the team? Could even be flying up the middle even more.
Yeah, Gilbert, it's sad to see.
Well, let's get into round 4 review like we do each week.
Yep.
So, simple. Player that impressed you and a team that impressed you. Jim, you can start us off with the team that impressed you the most.
Team that impressed me the most, probably the Cronulla Sharks. Yep. 18-0 down, looked in all sorts after about 20 minutes. But, you know, a few of the bench players came on and really, I thought, made a big impact and really changed the momentum of the game. You know, before halftime, it was 18-all, and then, they were just rolling downhill. I don't know what happened with the Raiders, but, the Sharks, as soon as they pulled on some points, they were just on. And it was a good win. You know, they dug deep, and, I thought it was going to be sort of a repeat of the week before against the Tigers when they got beat. But, no, they stepped up, and it was a good win.
And who's your player that impressed you? Because I think it's from the same match.
It is from the same match. It's Jackie Williams. Jack Williams, Sharks bench play, made a huge impact. Like I said, I thought he was one of the players that really changed the momentum when he came on. 17 runs, 172 metres, 59 post-contact, 26 tackles. Obviously, you know, they've got plenty of injuries in the forward pack at the moment, but, I thought he was a real standout on the weekend, and they'll need that going forward for sure. How about you, Mick?
My team this week that impressed me, I was at the game. Panthers impressed me the most.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes we don't give Panthers the raps because we just assume them to be and expect them to be the giant beasts they are. But I don't think the scoreline flattered them. I think 6-point win didn't reflect how they played. I think they suffocated the Roosters out of the game. I spoke about it last week. They have the next man up mentality. And you could see it. Brad Schneider.
He just slotted straight, isn't it?
Slot in. I mean, Cleary would have done a better job, but he's just impressed. You wouldn't even think twice of it. And shout out to Lindsay Smith.
Yeah.
I think I touched on it at one of the first episodes of the year. He looks really impressive, and he filled in for Fisher Harris. And then Liam Martin got injured. He shifted to that edge. Played 66 minutes for a big prop in the middle.
Yeah, very versatile.
Shout out to Lindsay Smith.
Yeah, they got a few good young forwards, like Liam Henry's as well, one of them.
Mav Gaia debuted. He looked okay.
He looked pretty good, yeah.
So, they're not short of any players coming through the ranks.
Definitely not. How about your player?
Oh, my player. It was actually against you boys, against the Cowboys. Adam Reynolds. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That bloke
had it on a string.
He literally kicked you out of the game, even in the wet, which made it even worse. Drinky couldn't catch his bombs for starters. No. Every forced dropout he put in returned something.
Yeah.
And the amount of try assists he did off the boot, oh my God.
Yeah, it was a good game from him.
He just, as a halfback, he's what you want in terms of he has that perfect ability to steer the ship.
Yeah.
But then know when to stop and don't overstep his mark.
Yeah.
Where you can see he passes to Mam, gives early ball to Stags. He goes through the motions and oh my God, he literally killed you guys.
He's a good halfback, isn't he?
Very good halfback. Any team would kill to have him. But let's jump forward and we'll go to our round 5 preview this week. It's always sponsored by TBC Live. Predict, banter, and win. So if you've been playing on the app this weekend, you'd see that one user's been absolutely terrorising the app.
Lockie's NRL
killing it.
Absolutely on fire.
Makes good content too on Instagram.
Great content on Instagram. But he might be even better on TBC because he's absolutely killing it. He's racking up all the prizes. So we're throwing out a challenge?
Yeah, we're throwing out a little challenge to anyone that can beat Lockie's NRL this weekend.
Yeah.
What are we doing, Jim?
Mate, we're going to double the price.
Oof. So normally it's $100 NRL store voucher.
Yep.
This week, we're going to double it.
Double it, $200 if you can beat Lockie's NRL. So like Mick said, make sure you jump on the app, download the app from the App Store, Google
It's free
Play.
to play, open to all ages.
Yep.
And use the link in our description. It'll take you to one link. It'll go straight to your App Store, whichever App Store you're using.
Yeah, 100%.
So let's get into it, Jim. First game of the round, blockbuster on Thursday night, Storm versus the Broncos.
Storm versus Broncos. I'm going to go Storm for me. Age was kind enough while he's lying on the couch to send us through some stats. So Storm have won 7 straight games versus the Broncos at Amy Park. Broncos haven't beaten Storm at Amy Park since round 25, 2016.
Wow.
Which is quite the stat.
It's quite a long time. I think, looking at the team list here, Reece Walsh not named again.
Yeah.
They were hoping he'd come back next week. Obviously, Payne Haas been out for some time.
Haas is still out.
And Pierre Kuro not playing either. So, few losses for the Brisbane Broncos, which means I'll be going the Storm. Storm get all their players back. Jerome Hughes slots back in. Munster surprisingly named. I thought he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So now he's meant to be steering the ship around.
Yep.
And obviously Sean Blaw, who you tipped in the preseason to have a decent
Yeah, it's
season.
nice to see him, starting in the back row, so it'll be good to see. But, yeah, I think Storm at home should be pretty hard to beat, I'd say.
Okay, and Age has obviously gone the Storm there. Next game of the round, 6 p.m. on a Friday, Bulldogs taking on the Roosters. Who are you going, Jim?
I'm going to go the Roosters.
Okay.
Yeah, Roosters
why
for
you
me.
Roosters?
Obviously, you can argue they were disappointing last week against Penrith, but they've got a good record against Bulldogs. They've won 9 of their last 10 matches versus Bulldogs. Interestingly enough, the last 11 matchups between the Roosters and Bulldogs have been under 51 total points. So
defence.
Usually defence, as we know, wins games, but yeah, I think Roosters will be too strong for the Dogs.
Yeah, I think I'm going with the Roosters as well. Although they didn't play their best game against Penrith, Bulldogs didn't play their best game against South. So the form line's there. Shout out to Karaz, who continues to step up each week.
Week in, week out.
Pity about our mate Preston breaking his jaw. That's a tough stint to carry.
Yeah.
But yeah, look.
Harrison Edwards onto the bench.
Edwards named, finally. So
he's finally named
get a
on
bit
the
of
bench.
love. He's named at number 15. They got a decent-sized bench. The rookie named as well, Katoni Katoga.
Yep.
Fijian international steps in.
Yeah, looked real good in the preseason games.
He looks all right.
It'll be interesting to see how he goes in first grade.
But they got Kikau and Curran in their back row. So 2 handy replacements for whoever goes down. And Age has gone the Roosters as well.
Yep.
Jumping on, we got Knights versus Dragons, Friday 8 p.m. Pause. When they were doing the schedule, how did this become the 8 p.m. slot game?
Primetime game. Yeah.
Knights versus Dragons.
Yeah, I don't know.
Holy.
They'll get a crowd up there though. They love their footy up at Newey. Obviously they're not going so well this season as they were last season, but there's still hope. I think you can argue it's almost sort of last chance territory here for the Knights. Like I was tempted to tip against them, but I'll give them one more chance against the Dragons this week.
I think last year, remember they were going through a rough patch and everyone's like, oh, Knights are done.
Because they started the season well last year, didn't they?
I thought it went well and then shit.
And then
they killed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that 8 in a row form, whatever that streak was, maybe 10.
It was,
It just covered up a few things. I'll be going Knights, like you said, last chance. Can't discredit Dragons' form. They've upset a few teams this year.
Yeah, they've knocked off Manly, which was no easy feat. Obviously lost to the Cowboys, but they were in that game. But yeah, I don't know. The Dragons, they're sort of hot and cold. So you sort of don't know what you're going to get with the Dragons.
Well, it's a bit of a hoodoo. Age the Statman has come up with Dragons have won 18 of their last 23 matches versus the Knights in Newcastle at McDonald Jones Stadium.
Yeah, wow.
So they have a 78% win rate over there.
Okay, so they have a pretty good record there.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
big.
Yeah, it was a 50-50 one, but I think Knights.
Yep. So we've all gone Knights except for Age. He has gone the Dragons.
Of course he has, yeah.
Saturday, 3 p.m, Rabbitohs taking on the Warriors. Probably one of the toughest matchups to pick this week.
This was another tough one.
So South have won 8 in a row versus the Warriors. So we do have the wood over him, but Warriors, man, that team they have is one of their strongest they've had since I've started watching them play.
Yeah, and they get obviously Sean's back this week.
That's a huge inclusion.
Huge
And
inclusion.
of course, it's against the Rabbitohs. Like we
Yeah.
needed anything else against us.
Pity Lukey Metcalf went down, fractured his leg.
Horrible injury out for potentially 3 months more.
Yeah, so that's a huge loss for them. They get Tamari Martin slotting back into 5'8". I thought Harris Tavita was stiff to miss out there, but this was another sort of tough game, 50-50. Warriors playing good footy. I always think they don't have a good record in Sydney, do they, the Warriors?
I don't think so. Age hasn't given us any stats, so he should be sacked.
I don't really see them win when they come to Sydney.
No, and South somehow have the wood over him at a call.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is AJ is going to be a massive loss for the Rabbitohs on the left edge there. Isaac Thompson jumps in there now. He's pretty decent. Big body winger. So hopefully he can contain Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. But one funny thing that struck me with the Warriors last week is you listen to the commentary and Shek's obviously playing fullback. They're going, oh yeah, it's our third string fullback. Because Chan's Tuapiki and then apparently he's third string.
Well, it is.
So if you have Shek as your third string fullback, you're obviously doing something right with your organisation.
You're doing pretty well, yeah. But yeah, I think I'm going to go South.
I think I'm going to go the Rabbits just because bias, one, obviously can't discredit that. And two, I think South at home just adds that little bit more of an edge.
And they've got that record over the Warriors. So
100%. Manly versus Penrith. Who will you be going, Jim?
See, I initially penciled in the Seagulls until Age, the great man, sent through some stats. Penrith have won 8 in a row versus Manly. Panthers have won the last 6 games versus Manly by 12 points or more. 100%.
And Fisher Harris jumps back into the Panthers team. So
that's
a massive inclusion, especially given how big Manly's pack is. You know, you got Paseka in there.
Aloye.
Olakawatu.
Yep.
Huge pack, and you got the experience of Jake Trebojevic.
Yeah, so it's a timely comeback for Fish. They are playing at Brooksvale. Yeah. So I was tempted to go Manly, but I think Penrith will be, and we saw, it was evident last week against the Roosters. Obviously, they suffocated them, like you said, and I think it'll be more of the same. While Clear is out, they'll try and do more of the same, and I think they'll win.
100%. Yeah, I'm going to go Penrith. I would have gone Manly if they would have done some damage on the Dragons. Maybe
that was a weird one.
Tape, but they got rolled. They're their hoodoo team down at Wollongong. Apparently, it's something like 20-plus years they haven't won there.
Ridiculous.
So, fuck it. Age is going Penrith as well. Dolphins versus West Tigers. I'll be going the Dolphins.
Yes.
But it hurts me to jump off the Tigers bus because the Tigers have never lost to the Dolphins. Small sample size.
2 games?
Something like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Dolphins. Back at home?
Yeah, Dolphins.
Tigers, we spoke about it. Lachlan Galvin, huge loss.
And Dolphins have that X factor in their team.
Hammer, Herbie, Avarillo, speed, speedy backline. I think Dolphins, I think it'll be a close game, though. I think it'll be a good game of footy. Dolphins.
I'm going Dolphins as well. Age has gone the Tigers. Cowboys taking on the Titans. I think this is a no-brainer. I think Cowboys, although they didn't play to their best, I think they should be too good for the Titans.
You'd hope so. Titans, like we said last week, there's all sorts of dramas up there at the Gold Coast at the moment. They led early against the Dolphins and then they just sort of capitulated, which is sort of the Titans of old.
They're bringing in 2 new wingers now. They've got Harley Smith-Shields and Jojo Fafita.
Yeah.
So just reading off their team, I remember when we were looking at teams to sort of put in the top 8, I think everyone sort of had Titans. Maybe they could make the 8.
Yeah.
Des Hasler, obviously, you got your Tinos, Fafita, Jaden Campbell Fodawaker. They had the team. But now looking at, without discrediting these players, when you compare it to a Cowboys team, so you got Smith Shields, we just touched on, Fafita in the wing. Jaden Campbell's still very fresh for a fullback.
Yep.
Then we touched on it, the pack again. Aaron Clark, Locke, Bo Firma, Khalees Haas, Jamin Jolliffe, Chris Randall Hooker, Fodawaker.
Yeah.
I feel like they've lost a lot of experience in their pack.
Yeah,
and
Tino is a massive loss.
X factor too. That's not having that Tino in their forward pack hurts.
Yeah, and Fafita obviously got through last week. He's still on the bench.
Yeah, his name was the bench.
He might start, but I just don't know about the Titans. I think Cows, Todd Payton said it last week, we probably wouldn't have beaten the Temora Dragons, which is probably fair. Yep. We couldn't hang on to the footy, just couldn't defend. So back at home, hopefully, we put a good show back at home at Townsville. And yeah, hopefully we can win well.
Yeah, you guys couldn't have played any worse than what you did. That was a tough watch for everyone. It was just Drinkwater had probably one of his worst games and still ended up playing better than most. So, yeah. Only thing that scares me about you guys is sometimes your bench rotation. I feel like this year more than ever, it's lacking a bit.
Yeah, it is. I think, I don't know what Toddy's plans are for the bench moving forward, but I would really, really love to see Tommy McKaylee in the team. I've been big advocate for McKaylee since he's joined us. He had a good preseason, looks good in the trials, but yeah, just hasn't been able to force his way into 17. Hopefully, he's a late change. I don't know. We'll see, but yeah,
he's a big body that wouldn't do any harm off your bench.
No way.
And the final game of the round, Raiders taking on the Eels. So Raiders obviously calling them the Faders. That was a horrible second half performance against the Sharks.
18-0, yeah. I don't know what happened there. They just switched off.
Literally capitulated.
Yeah.
But Sharks played very well.
Sharks were very good.
Yeah, so it's hard because then you got the Eels on the other hand losing to the Tigers.
Yeah.
But they never really looked in it.
The
Eels.
Yeah.
They just, although they took the lead, they were still just
Yeah, they gave Tigers a sniff.
Yeah, Tigers always just coming and coming.
Yeah.
I'm
going to go the Raiders at home.
Okay.
Back at Canberra, cold weather. They love it. Sticky will get stuck into them this week, I'm sure, after last week, and I think they'll bounce back.
Raiders have won 14 of their last 17 matchups against the Eels at GIO Stadium, so obviously have the wood over them down there. But I'm going to go against the stats, and I'm going to go the Eels this week. I don't know why, but Raiders, I don't know. Just when I look at their team, it just hurts me knowing that they just fade the way they do. And it doesn't give me the confidence to tip them.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And I think Eels still have some X factor in their team that you can't discredit, like your Dillbags, Gutho,
Talangi. Yeah.
Sean Lane, obviously, on that edge. So, yeah, I'm going Eels, and Age is going the Raiders.
Beautiful.
So that is our round 5 tips. Before we jump on to our regular segments, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that Jimmy's sporting a very nice bucket hat and a grey shirt. Jimmy speaks, so the camera switches over.
Yes. Is that what you wanted me to do?
That's all I wanted you to do. That goes back to me. White T-shirt with the cast. This is our new logo and branding, and merch is actually available right now. Where can they find it, Jim?
Mate, if they go onto the website, what's the link to the website?
www.
Yes.
Simple. Like every website. Thecastpatrol.com.au.
That's it.
We'll put a link in our description as well. It's super easy. We've made them affordable. Just we want people to wear it as opposed to us making profit. So we've made them pretty much the bare minimum we can do without losing money on each T-shirt, because that would be bad business.
It would be.
But so bucket hats on sale. I think they're $24.99, and T-shirts are under $30.
Yeah. So make sure you jump on the website and sign up to the Cast Club, because you get obviously email notifications of merch drops, all this sort of fun stuff. So if you're a fan of these shirts that me and Mick are wearing, jump on the website.
And they're available in white, grey,
bucket
and
hat,
cream. So this is our 10K merch. This hat is obviously not our merch, but and two of us couldn't have wore bucket hats. Look too alike.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, let's jump on to it. Tryscorer Tryfecta. Last week, Age went Latrell, I went Turbo, you went Herbie. You were the only one that landed.
Herbie scored. Yeah.
Lucky.
So you both did chili shots?
Nah, that's not how it works. I did 2. This week, I'll be going Bradman Best. I like the matchup against Dragons. That's it.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Adrian's gone Teddy, and he's put a stat in for us. Teddy has scored 7 tries in his last 4 games versus the Dogs.
Always seems to carve them up.
Yep. And I'm going to go Felty to break the Cowboys try scoring record.
He's going to do it against anyone. Titans is pretty fit.
Back at home. You just know it's
you can just see it.
At Townsville, Drinky cut out, Felty in the corner. Bob's your
Does he do a celebration when he gets it?
I don't know. Probably.
Maybe. Fill up the fridge. Remember, front rowers only for those playing at home. So no second rowers, no locks coming off the bench. Front rowers strictly only. Yeah. So who are you going? Well, so last week, Age actually landed Thomas Burgess. He was the first try scorer in the Good Friday clash. So fair play to Age. He did well.
He did very well.
And that makes it 2 games back-to-back in a row for Burgess against the Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so who you be going this week, Jim?
I'm going to go Tui Kamikamitha. I went him a few weeks ago and unfortunately dropped it over the line. So hopefully against the Brisbane pack, which is obviously lacking a bit of punch, he can go over. How about you, Mick?
I'll be going with James Fisher-Harris, back from injury. you're looking to make a statement against the Manly team, it's a vibe pick and vibe alone. And Age is going with Terrell May, sticking with the Fridges, playing the Dogs. They apparently leak in their middle, and May got close last week. Yeah, he's got a motor, May.
He's got, mate, we've said it on the show before, Terrell May, one of our favourite players.
One of them.
Like, he's an absolute beast for the Chooks. And
we saw it last year, just would not stop off
just
the bench.
doesn't stop.
And now starting, he's just been given a license to fucking go nuts.
Yeah, well, Robbo said, like, you know, he just can't take him off because he just keeps going. So,
and you can see it.
It's good to see. Cool. Listener questions for this week. We'll kick it off with at Ryan Grouse. Does Tago deserve to be the centre for the Blues over Trell and Turbo?
That's a tough question. That's a tough one. Very tough one.
It is. He's playing good footy, and you can argue he's probably the in-form centre of the competition. Yep. Trell, you know, we know what we're going to get with Trell, obviously in Origin. You know, he's done it in the arena before, Turbo, but he wouldn't look out of place, Tago.
He wouldn't look out of place. It's tough because there's a lot of people competing for that centre position.
Yeah.
You obviously got, like you said, Trell. You got Turbo, who, although it's not their natural position, they will still do an absolute killer job.
Yeah.
Then you've got Stephen Crichton, who's the incumbent from last year, playing for the Dogs now. Does that change his selection status?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He wouldn't look out of place, I don't think, and especially on that, if he plays that right edge, he plays similar to Penrith and have that combination with Cleary.
Yeah, I think he's definitely an Origin smokey. If he sort of continues on this trajectory that he's on now, you know, there's no reason for Madge not to pick him, you know. But obviously, you know, you've got to prioritise like your Trells, your Turbos first. But if there's a spot open for him, I'd be picking him for sure.
100%. And you can see he's only 21, so he's just going to keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
So if his time's not now, it'll come in the next few years.
100%.
Can you put Turbo on the wing?
But who do you drop?
Well, assuming Bizza takes one wing, you just put Turbo on the other.
Who played wing last year?
It was it Daniel Tupou? No.
Was it Toops?
I think it could have been Toops.
Okay. Toops and Toto is obviously one. Yeah, I mean you could. I mean you could put him on the wing and have him sort of that roaming, or give him the license to sort of roam, which we've seen before. But I don't know. I don't know what Madge would do. I'm scared.
It's always interesting having a new coaching because it's a clean slate. No one's safe.
And did he say he's going to just go purely on form?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know with Madge.
Yeah, okay. He's a madman, Madge.
But I think it'd be crazy to be picking people out of form and hoping they perform.
Like in anything, yeah. You're right. 100%. Next one, at Kai_Clayton. How do you think the Dragons will end up on the ladder this year from their current form?
Current form, I think me and you, Jim, are going to eat our words. I don't think they're going to get that spoon.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people tipped him in the wooden spoon race against the Tigers, but I think they're just showing that with Flanagan at the reins, there's a bit
they're
more
playing
to
some
the
good footy. Like, Sloan looks dangerous.
He actually looks... He's been... Like, there's raps on Sloan for
ages.
Since he debuted. Like, this guy's going to explode. And you saw glimpses, but this year he's actually showing consistent footy, which is good. Jaden Sewer's been huge on their edge.
Sewer's been good,
And DeBellin through the middle.
DeBellin, they've looked real good. Where do I think they'll end up? I think I'm gonna still say bottom four.
Yep.
We're in that bottom four, TBC, to be decided. But I think that's still finished.
Yeah, I don't see him making that top 8 this year. I mean, form's great now, but you lose your Ben Hunts over State of Origin period, then that team
gets a bit tricky.
It gets a bit tricky how it's going. So, look, Kai, I think I'm going to have to put him, like Jimmy said, in that bottom of the 8. Bottom of the 9 now.
Bottom 9, yeah.
Bottom 9. So anywhere around there wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think top 8's coming this year.
What about Zachy Lomax? What are your thoughts on that?
That was an interesting one.
Finally got his release.
Yeah, I think he's not happy on that wing.
Where's he going to go?
I don't know. There's a few clubs tossed up. Para, obviously, they're looking for an X factor in their centres.
Yeah. The Roosters?
Roosters in the market for a centre. They're always in the market for any player. Rumours they wanted Cobbo at some point.
Yeah.
Lomax wouldn't look out of place at the Roosters.
No, and obviously they're losing a few centres, so might open up a spot for him.
They're going to lose Manu and Suoli'i, so
they're
left with Billy Smith in an empty space.
Next one, at Hero Does Sport. Who will be the first NRL coach sacked in 2024?
It's always a tough question because it's someone's job.
It is someone's job.
Who do you think, Jim?
The way it's going, Adam O'Brien.
That's a big call.
I know he's been there for a while, but they've got to start winning games.
Yeah.
With the roster that they've got, they can't be going this bad.
Yeah, because I feel like he was on the chopping block last year.
And then they sort of went on that mad run.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Like, I'd say him, but...
Because I feel like a lot of the teams that were underperforming have got new coaches, so you can't really sack it.
Yeah.
Like Tigers, Dragons, Titans, all got new coaches, so it's too fresh for it.
Yeah.
Dogs with Serrato, I think they're just going to give him the reins and just let him take control for the next few years just to see.
I don't know.
Potentially Manly. But Seabold's also very
Seabold.
new.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. Next one, at XMurphy222. Is Lachlan Galvin the Tigers' long-term 5'8" and or halfback?
I think you'd like to think so.
Yeah, obviously we spoke about it last week. The spine, Tiger spine, what it looks like next year. Where does he fit in? Do you reckon he keeps a 6 next year when Luai comes?
Yeah, I think Luai wants to play 7 and they're paying him that money to play 7. So
Yeah.
I think he would like to find who's obviously...
And I think now he's got a head start on Fainu.
I think so
He's
now.
and he's proven himself in NRL.
18 years old, he's got the hype train before him. He's proven it. Like we saw last weekend against the Para Eels and then the week before.
Against the Sharks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knows how to do a job and he's playing with a lot of confidence. Hopefully he keeps it up.
Yeah.
Someone on TikTok in one of our comments said Galvin can move to lock.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever played lock. But
Maybe he did.
Jesus. I don't know.
That would be a plot twist.
A massive plot twist.
That would be a plot twist.
Maybe keep your plot twists in your dreams, whoever wrote that.
Yeah. Next one, at Tyler Torino. Looking at the current rankings and their performances plus injuries, who do you think will end up top 4?
Oh, I hate when we get these questions. Like, I respect them coming in.
Yeah.
But they're just tough to answer at this
Look,
point.
you got, I think, Penrith.
Let's say Penrith are your lock to make the top 4. Would you put Melbourne in that top 4?
Ooh. I'd go Penrith.
Yep.
Roosters.
You think Roosters to a top 4 team?
Yeah. Cowboys.
Oh,
Just based on just right now and their performances.
it's hard because those teams that we're putting in lost,
Yeah, true.
except for Penrith. And then you still got Broncos roaming around, but injuries
Brisbane,
when they come back. Melbourne.
Sharks, they've got an easy run.
Yeah, they're playing okay footy.
They're not playing their best. They might. Yeah, I don't know.
Look, I'm sorry, mate, but we're giving you Penrith. That's it, our top 4.
Penrith for sure, and then the rest will.
Yeah, way too early predictions right now.
And then last one for this week, at Luke de Steph. Attacking players leading with their shoulders when carrying the ball, play on a penalty.
Yeah.
You see it in the game a fair bit.
I think it's too tough to call because we're watching in slow-mo and TV. Like, when you're out there, you're not thinking.
It's, if no one's getting injured by it, I think it's a play on. I do see what he means. There is a few players that do lead him with his shoulders, which could put, potential defenders in precarious positions. But, I mean, if there's no injuries that's happening from it, I think it's just leave it for now and just let it go.
As long as you're not running with Conrad Harrell style, just with your knee up, running into players. I don't.
Because you got a few, you got obviously the shoulder, and then you got the.
I think the penalty is the one where you put your bumpers up.
Yeah,
and you're going
bumpers
to the head.
To the head.
Elbows a bit to the head's a bit much.
Yeah,
can't be doing that.
Can't be doing that. So I think for now we'll play it on for now.
Play it on. Is that it, Jim? Is that all of them?
That's all of them, mate. That's it.
Perfect. Well, special reminder, the Cast Patrol merch is now available online.
Now live.
It's in our description at the Cast Patrol website, which is www.thecastpatrol.com.au.
Make sure you sign up to the Cast Club.
Beauty, bucket hats, T-shirts, all available on there.
Yeah.
Be sure to send us a message or tag us on a story if you happen to purchase, and we'll reshare it for sure. And we thank everyone for the support over the last few weeks. Obviously, we hit 10K followers on Instagram. I don't think we touched on that.
No, I don't think so.
But that's huge. That's a massive milestone.
Oh, huge. I mean, that's sort of a goal that we had in mind when we sort of first started the podcast. So to achieve that was pretty cool, pretty special. And here's to the next 10K, eh?
Huge, exactly. So that's all from me.
That's all from me.
And we'll catch you next week.
See you guys.
See ya.